up knowing there's a reason. All my dreams come alive, life is for living. With you, I've made my decision. You lift me up, fill my eyes with wonder. Forever young in your love, this freedom's untainted. With you, no moment is wasted. See the sun now bursting through the clouds. Black and white turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I have found. This is living now. You lead the way, got you right beside me. In your love, I'm complete. There's nothing like living with you. This life you created, I choose. See the sun now bursting through the clouds. Black and white turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I have found. This is living now.
Is it love? If it was, am I living it? Do I live in it? So astounding. Love is an ocean, you can drown me. The sweet embrace, the lovely taste, I taste and see. I'm under grace, the place to be. It means I'll never need an umbrella. I'm cool in the cold, in the hot weather. Whether or never I ever understand, I'm a man in the hands of great plans. I stand with faith there in a life I never known to touch. And still I saw my clutch, but I'm like, what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? Live to no end. This is living. The life I've been given's a gift. If I'm a living, I'ma live it to death. So what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And live to no end. This is living. The life I've been given's a gift. If I'm a living, I'ma live it to death.
This is living now. You take me higher than I've been before. It's your perfect love. sing with everything, if I sing for you, my king, come on, lift your voice. And I can't imagine why I would do this all for high, 'cause it's hard to live too high. Whoa.
The story of Christmas, Jesus and the wise men. This is Jesus.
Booyah!
Jesus is the Son of God who would grow up to do amazing things. His parents on earth were Mary and Joseph.
Heyo.
Jesus was born in a barn because there was no room for him anywhere else in Bethlehem. Bethlehem was part of Judea, an area that was ruled by a king named Herod. King Herod was in Jerusalem when some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem asking,
Excuse me.
"Where is the newborn king of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose and we have come to worship him." When Herod heard that there was another king born in Judea, he was very upset, as was everyone else in Jerusalem.
Yeah. Not you.
So Herod called all the important priests and Jews together and asked them where this king was supposed to be born. The Jews knew that their king would eventually come, and it was always told to them that the king of the Jews, the savior of the world, would be born in Bethlehem. So they told that to King Herod. Then King Herod thought of a way to trick the wise men. So he called a private meeting with them and learned from them when the king of the Jews' star first appeared.
Oh, good.
And then King Herod told the wise men, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child, and when you find him, come back and tell me, so that I can go and worship him too."
Okay. Hey, on your way.
But secretly, Herod wanted to know where the king of the Jews was so he could get rid of him. So the wise men went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where Jesus was, and the wise men were filled with joy.
Woo-hoo!
They went into the house and saw Mary and Jesus,
Hello. Oh, look. Wow.
and they bowed down and worshiped Jesus.
Wait.
They gave him special gifts fit for the king that he was: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then God warned them in a dream to not go home through Jerusalem, where King Herod was, but God told them to go home a different way. So they did. And then an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up." The angel told Joseph to go to Egypt with Mary and Jesus because Herod was looking to kill Jesus. That very night, Joseph left for Egypt with Jesus and Mary. They stayed in Egypt until Herod was gone, and it was safe for them to go home to Israel. When they returned, an angel warned them about the new ruler of Judea, who was Herod's son.
This way.
So Joseph and his family went to the region of Galilee and found their new home in the town of Nazareth,
Look good?
Yep.
We'll take it.
where Jesus would grow up and eventually do all the amazing things God had planned for him to do.
I don't know about you, but when I think of kings and queens, I think of huge palaces and beautiful throne rooms. I think of the expensive clothes that they wear and the really big crowns with huge jewels on them. I think of luxury, like these eloquent people who speak funny. When I think of kings and queens, I just think of all of those things. And that's kind of strange then when I think of Jesus as king. Because Jesus didn't look like any of those kings. He certainly didn't come to earth like any of those kings. You see, when you expect a king to be born, you expect the news to go out far and wide and to be everywhere, the paparazzi taking their pictures. But Jesus came, and he didn't come quite like that. See, Jesus came to earth as a baby, and he was born not in a big palace and a grand place. Instead, he was born in a stable alongside the animals. Jesus wasn't put on a throne. Instead, he was placed into a manger, a place where the animals would have eaten. See, Jesus wasn't wrapped in fine linens. Instead, he was just like you and me, an ordinary child come into an ordinary life with an ordinary family. You wouldn't have looked at Jesus as a baby and thought, wow, King Jesus. He didn't get greeted by paparazzi and huge crowds. Instead, he just had a few visitors. He had some shepherds and he had some wise men who came to him. Jesus wasn't like any other king. He didn't come to live like other kings. But don't misunderstand that, because Jesus is king. In fact, he's the king of all kings. Now, the wise men, they came to Jesus as a baby because they had been following a star. They knew that the star would lead them to the king of the Jews. And so they followed this star until they got to this manger, till they got to this stable, till they got to see Jesus. And when they came to Jesus, they came to give gifts to a baby Jesus. And the gifts were kind of strange. The wise men didn't really bring gifts for a baby. It wasn't like diapers and a pacifier and some baby toys. Instead, their gifts were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. We know gold because gold is expensive and it's a gift worthy of a king. We might have heard of frankincense. It's like this sticky substance that smells really good. And frankincense was used in the Old Testament by the priests. And so it was a gift for a priest. And then myrrh was used for burial. It was a gift for burial. And what the gifts were kind of showing of the wise men was they were kind of reflective of Jesus' life. That Jesus is the King of the Jews. But he was also a priest who would give his own life as a sacrifice for the world. Isn't that pretty cool how the Magi's gift, these wise men's gift, would line up with the life of Jesus? See, those gifts were very valuable, they were expensive, and they were given to Jesus as their worship. The wise men came to worship Jesus. And even today, Jesus is King. And he wants to be the king of our hearts. He wants us to worship him and give gifts to him just like the wise men gave their gifts. He wants us to give the gift of our life, that we would give our life in service of him, that he would be the king of our hearts and our lives.